Hey guys, this is Mugambo, and today I'm looking at the Nekros Warframe. Nekros is a death-based Warframe released in Update 10. His abilities revolve mostly around the manipulation of dead enemies and fear, but judging by his appearance, he almost looks like an infested-based Warframe. Nekros can be acquired by defeating the boss J2000 Golem in the Orkan Derelict. But defeating him is not really the biggest challenge, as you will need to navigate the process of buying key blueprints and farming nav coordinates. Once you get Nekros, you'll find his skills of fear and manipulation of falling enemies highly supportive to the squad. His first skill, Soul Punch, as the name suggests, literally punches the soul out of enemies, dealing damage to the target as well as targets behind it. It deals 500 armor-ignoring damage to the initial target and varying damage to subsequent targets, depending on, well, it's kinda hard to tell what it's depending on, but it does work. They won't take full damage like the initial target, but the ragdoll does seem to send them flying. It's cheap, spammable, and does tons of damage. Soul Punch is affected by the Focus mod and Stretch mod. Terrify casts fear into nearby enemies, causing them to flee in terror and take extra damage. This is basically your panic button. If a teammate goes down or an object you're protecting like a cryopod begins to take damage, just cast this to save the day. As soon as enemies notice you attached a sparkly Twilight Vampire debuff on them, they'll run for the hills. Desecrate simply forces fallen enemies to cough up additional loot. This could include anything from health and energy orbs to mods, resources, and even ammo. Now, this may sound useless, but it's actually pretty much all about timing. Spending 50 energy to loot an enemy or two is pretty pointless, but if one of your teammates casts their ultimate and you're quick enough to follow it with Desecrate, you may be surprised at the results. Remember, Nekros is a support frame, be supportive. Desecrate is affected by the Stretch mod. But all of these pale in comparison to Nekros' fourth ability, Shadows of the Dead. It raises friendly nanobot clones of the last 6 enemies you kill, that number being expandable by mods. Imagine having all of the alien ghosts from Prometheus spill out onto the map and start smashing your enemies to bits. Shadows of the Dead is not only a devastating skill, but it deserves an award for cool factor. But don't just go spamming this. Remember, again, Nekros is a supportive frame. Make a habit of focusing your fire on only the most deadly enemies like heavy gunners and ancients. Then, when the moment is right, unleash an army of hell onto the battlefield. With a bit of practice, timing, and patience, you can pull off some pretty impressive castings of this skill. It is affected by the Focus mod for more shadows and duration mods. Now, how do you mod Nekros? Make sure you've got Energy Siphon installed to support your casting nature. Well, you can place a defensive mod like Redirection in the Defense Polarity slot. Next, add Focus for more damage and more copies of raised enemies. Now add Stretch, which is really good for adding collateral damage to Soul Punch. Add Continuity for longer skill durations, and add Streamline and Flow to expand your energy pool. However, personally, I abandoned Desecrate and Stretch's effect on Soul Punch to add Constitution for more duration of my skills. As far as helmets, the Rankus helmet adds no additional stats, but it does look nice in a creepy harbinger of death kind of way. So in conclusion, a smart player with a bit of patience, knowing his support role, will stop even the most powerful enemies dead in their tracks, or back alive in their tracks, or whatever. Either way, Nekros is the only Warframe bad enough to kill his enemies, bring them back, and kill more enemies with the other enemies. That's quite literally the equivalent of hitting a dude with another dude.